Do the stop video. Woo! Got that. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So, any other questions? Because I'm going to get the mudras are hand positions. That is correct. And we are going to cover that. Let me pull up the PowerPoint. All right. Can everybody see it? Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Yay, thank you. Okay, so there were some people that were asking, and I'm going to make this real quick so we can get through the rest of the information that we have. Let's see here. Let me go to the next. We talked about the age of Aquarius, the age that we're living in now. And, you know, we came out of the Passion age that was very rigid and ambitious and competitive, moving into this Aquarian age, which is compassion, connection, working together, not putting someone down to raise yourself up. And we'll be in that for about the next 2,000 years. There's no secrets in the Aquarian age. So this is definitely the time to take self-inventory, self-study, swadhyaya, to really dig in and see if you've got any secrets, any stuff that you would like to heal and release. This is the time to do it. And the energies of this time would support that action. And I would certainly encourage you, if you're interested in learning more about the Aquarian age, the age that Earth is in, now look it up. It's fascinating. There's so much to learn. The motto is be to be, so that's a nice thing to tune into as well. You don't have to prove yourself anymore. You don't have to do that. You are something by just simply being. And I really hope for you that you can drink that in and realize that you're something just by being. You don't have to explain yourself, none of that. The guru is within, no longer need to look outside yourself to find the answers. They're inside there. If not, Google it. Okay. The sutras for the Aquarian age. These I refer to a lot. Recognize the other person is you. There is a way through every block. When the time is on, you start and the pressure will be off. Understand through compassion, or you will misunderstand the times, and vibrate the cosmos, and the cosmos shall clear a path. Kundalini yoga is a personal experience. So as you're practicing, different things are going to come up for you. We talked about that. It could be an imagery, it could be colors, it could be in sensation, perhaps pain, perhaps joy. All of that is just part of the experience. There is no goal. This is a lifelong process. So there's no goal that we're trying to get to, as this earlier. There's not a goal. I did think of this, though, while we were on break, that because everyone was saying that they felt a lot in their backside body with that, the Kriya of elevation that we did, that series. And with that Kriya, we were moving a lot of energy from the lower chakras up. The chakras of your body aren't just on the front side of the body. I think we focus on the front side of the body, and oftentimes when we see pictures, you know, you see somebody in their position, and then you see the chakras down, and we think, oh, it's all in the front body. No. The chakras are energy wheels They're inside the body. So they resonate on the back side of the body and the front side of the body. So say you're opening up your heart, you may feel that on the back side of your body, around the shoulder blades, around the rhomboid muscle, in that area. So just consider that. Let that resonate with you for a little bit. Kundalini yoga is coined the householder's yoga. It's a way for just everybody, Joe, the householder, to get to know and experience this technology, this system of yoga that includes asana, pranayama, mantra, mudra. It has those components in it. And it's an experience. That's the key. We talked about releasing. That can come out emotionally, mentally, or physically. It could come in the form of laughter, crying, or anger. It could come in the form of maybe some discomfort in the body somewhere, or just a feeling of relief, a letting go. The Kundalini asanas, I've got that in quotation marks here, often referred to as exercises, simply because when we're practicing Kriya, you've got all those different components going on all at once to create a soulful action within your body, because you're using Kriya to connect your consciousness, unconsciousness to your highest consciousness. The system of Kundalini yoga has been brought to us to elevate us to our highest potential, to our highest good, to get the most out of this human experience. Okay? Let's see. The Kriya will remove the blockages, attachment, and ego. And we do that through postures, breath, sound, and mudra, hand stuff. Like the Satkar Tar was a perfect example of that. Healing sound is your voice. When we're practicing mantra, the mind projection, we might use the mantra verbally out loud, or silently, or as a whisper. And the mantras have a vibration. Agnamo, Gurudev Namo, the tune-in mantra. It's known as the Adi mantra. It's the first or primal mantra. It creates creative action, and it's there to help us move through our fears, our pride, expectation, manipulation, so that when we're practicing yoga or just practicing life, right? Just doing life. When we have that Adi mantra with us, it's helping us to come from a place of our highest consciousness, our highest resources, our highest good, and helping us to dissolve and work through the stuff that no longer serves us. Because I often say ego, but ego's not necessarily the bad guy, right? We ought to have our ego. It's part of the system. We just don't want it to rule everything and be coming from that place of ego. We want to come from the place of grounded into our highest spiritual consciousness, our heart, our higher self. When we chant the Adi mantra, we're tuning into what's known as the golden chain. We're tuning into all of our teachers, present, past, future. We're tuning in to the golden chain of teachers. And I say your own teachers, because when, I've got my lineage of teachers that I've studied with. So when I chant that, I'm tuning into that whole lineage that I've studied with. It's to my understanding that whenever a teacher comes, that they lineage them. So all those people that I've studied with, they're in that golden chain, and I'm bringing them with me and sharing them. Within you lies the spiritual light source of the universe. Radiate this energy outward, and you will be brighter than the sun. The tune-in chant was Og Namo Gurudev Namo. You want to be sure to use the tongue, the mouth, everything as you are chanting this mantra, focusing on its vibration, its sound, its feeling. It's transmitted into our aura, into our electromagnetic field, which we'll get into auras a little bit further down. It's about 84 meridians for the mouth. We're practicing with mantra, with chanting, and we're also using the gaze, whether we're looking up at the brow point or the tip of the nose or whatever's prescribed at the time. We're doing that to get the pituitary gland to start communicating to the pineal gland, the hypothalamus gland, so those higher glands of the brain, so they begin to start secreting their juices, known as Amrit, the nectar of the gods. So today, when we were practicing, and we started with a little bit of movement, then we came into the Surya breath, pranayama, with the mudra breath. We vibrated Sat Nam. All of that, our gaze was the brow point. All of that within your human body and cellular structure, so we're made of energy, was just to tune into the energy and start vibrating so that the glands and the chakras would all start to awaken and align. Okay, I'm summarizing the whole, what we went over this morning. I'll check out chat in just a minute. Now, this morning it was shared that some people started feeling some sinus drainage. That is scientifically proven that will happen when you're either humming or chanting Om because of the vibration that it creates, or Om Namo Gurudev Namo. That again is creating vibration, and that could start to get the sinuses to drain. That study was done at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden. Here's our happy guy, Ravi Shankar. And this is where we left, the three minds. Now, let me check. I've got 3 in the chat. Yes, I'm gonna have access to the slides. I'm gonna talk to Michelle about getting the slides and the information to you. Okay, and mudras are hand positions, correct? Yes, it does matter if we say it in English or Sanskrit. Sanskrit has a very high vibrational resonance to it. It does make a difference, Georgina, when you ask that question. It certainly does. So you're welcome. You're welcome, love. I'm glad that you asked that. English has a vibration, of course, too, but not near like chanting mantra. Okay, like the difference between an affirmation and a mantra. A lot of difference. A mantra has a specific rhythm to it a lot of times. Most of the time, it has a specific rhythm to it. It could be accompanied with a breath, and it would be directed whether or not you were saying it out loud to yourself or in a whisper. So that's lots of nasal resonance. Yes, your mantras usually have lots of nasal resonance because you're really using the tongue. There are some mantras that will drop down lower vibrations and you can feel, but they tend to not go, usually you feel them about the heart space and up when you're practicing with mantra. That vibration is high level. Okay, so we've got a hand raised here. I'm getting to you, Molly. So I'll finish this thought and then Molly, just unmute and come right in. So affirmation does change the neurotransmitters of the brain. Affirmation can also create new neuroplasticity of the brain, just like when you visualize doing something, you can actually change the neuroplasticity of the brain. It's phenomenal what we can do with thought, with words. But in answer to the question, or where I was coming with energy and vibration, mantras definitely have a different vibration than affirmations, but both are very serving for your well-being and to change energy pathways, energy thoughts through the brain. Okay, Molly, you had a question.
Okay, just a quick one on this. So I know you're saying that there's a different experience or response depending on the language that they're set in. Mm-hmm. What would, or I want to make sure I ask it right. So I work in populations that my clients might not necessarily be verbal or can use any language. Would it be beneficial for them to hum and have that vibrational sound in the right tone or the right pitch, or is it a totally different thing versus mantra versus like humming on a note for a chakra kind of thing? Did I ask that clearly?
You did. And I will tell you what I know about that. And what are that yes, humming is very beneficial. It's very calming. So you could use that. If they're comfortable, they could also say it silently to themselves. If they're able to do that, would they be able to use it in that way? Because it does work in that way. There are several meditations that I practice that I don't even say the mantra out loud. The mantra is, I say it silently with my pranayama and mudra. Did that, Melissa and everyone, did that answer questions? If they're not able to verbalize it, that they could say it silently to themselves or hum?
Yes.
Because humming is very, very calming. Now, just keep in mind that when we say it out loud, and we're about to get into this, when it's out loud, that is a vibrational current for the negative mind, to balance the negative mind when we're chanting out loud. When we are whispering, because there's a chant we're going to do hopefully today, I want to get to it. If not, we'll do it tomorrow, where you do a loud, whisper, and silent. So you're balancing all three minds: negative, positive, and neutral. Good. Did I answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. So the three minds: the negative mind. And oftentimes when we hear negative, we're like, ooh, boo, I don't want that, not the negative mind. But see, in this case, the negative mind is for safety and discernment. When the negative mind is our state of being, then we would be angry and not able to see the good in life, and the pitta dosha would be all fired up. But if we don't have the negative mind to say, hey, no, don't cross the street right now. No, don't take that road, or don't get into that car. Don't take that candy from a stranger, that kind of thing. Then what's to stop? It's a safety protocol, right? But if we're living in that negative mind, then that's when we're out of balance, because then we're not able to see the good in things or feel the good or have joy in our life, because we're only like seeing the bad things that could happen. So, and then we'll talk about this if anybody has questions. The positive mind gives balance to the negative mind, just like the negative mind would give balance to the positive mind. The positive mind gives us good feelings and outlook. But if the positive mind is over the top, we may be in danger and not even have a clue. We're not looking before we cross the street. We're just all giddy and, rainbows and unicorns. We're not paying attention. We're not noticing our environment when women get out of the car. Look around the parking lot. Engage your negative mind. Be prepared. But have the positive mind coming through, that you know that you're safe. You're doing what you need to do and carry on. Does that make sense what I'm speaking of? Okay. And it's the positive mind can get real high in Vata, which is your air quality of a dosha. And so you won't feel very grounded there. And we've all experienced that. You know how when you're real happy and you're laughing and you're carrying on and just you're very airy, very airy. The neutral mind is that current or bridge or thread between the two, right? So you want your neutral mind to be able to be so steady, calm, and a part of you that it knows when the time is right to engage negative mind and when the time is right for positive mind. And you've just got this nice, even. So it's where we want to make our decisions from, is a neutral mind. We know this. If you're a real negative mind, is that a real good place to make a decision? If you're real positive, oh my gosh, don't go online and start shopping. Who knows what you'll buy, right? So you want to have that balance between them. And our hormones can come into play with that too, and the glands and everything else of our energy body and our doshas and our gunas and everything, the elements, so that we can tell if we're in a manic state of positive mind, right? No judgment. It's part of the human being, but we just need to notice that and make sure that we are in balance and we're healthy. Need to do anything to get grounded and just be aware of our fluctuations, our chitta vritti, our fluctuations of the mind, just to be aware. Okay. Now when we experience, okay, so after we practice that short meditation, it's 15 minutes of movement and breath maybe? Do you remember back in what mind you were in after that? How did the mind feel? If you want to share your experience on that, I'd love to hear, to see just if you even noticed a shift. And this isn't from a place of judgment or wrong and right? Because that's part of the Aquarian age. Duality and that whole idea, oh, that's wrong, that's right, I'm doing this wrong, I'm doing this right, blah, blah, blah. That's fading away from us. And as it fades away from us, we're coming into a place of, but what did you experience? What was your experience? Who were you then? Because as many people said earlier in the chat, I practiced Kundalini years ago, didn't like it. I'm practicing it now. It's not so bad. I practiced it before, I had resistance. I'm practicing it now. It's not so bad, right? Fluctuation. All right, the chats are filling up. All right, so here we go. Totally awesome. Everything about this is exactly right. Thank you, Melissa. Calm and open. Neutral mind, calm and open. Content and present. Yes, exactly. Very good. Happy, right? So that had a little bit into the positive mind, which would totally make sense. The glands are secreting. You had that little bit of movement. Very calm. Tingly. Isn't tingly a great word? And is it awesome when we're tingly in our practice? Okay. Before I had a very physical one morning, the mind was taking over. But now I'm glad I did. Thank you for sharing that. Is it Adriana? Did I say that right? I hope, Adriana. Yes, good. And that's key. Which is why when over the break, when it came to me about the chakra system, and considering that the chakra system, the energy will, chakra means will, is inside you. So it resonates on the front and it resonates on the back, right? And we're trying to get the spinning action and balance. So if, say, you're releasing through the heart, you may not feel it on the front side. You might be feeling it on the back side. Say you're down in the pelvis region, the first and second chakra, where we are connecting to our people, our tribe, where we may have support or no support. So it might not show up on the front, maybe it's showing up on the back side of the body and more the lumbar spine or around the kidneys. Kidneys hold the element, of course, of water, but they also flesh out a lot of our emotions too, water and emotions. So sometimes it could happen that you're feeling that discomfort around the kidneys due to that. Okay. So it have this one, but this is, it could very well be heart chakra energy. And so that Satkar Tar, Satkar Tar, Satkar Tar could very well benefit you. And especially if it wasn't this morning and this is heart energy to bring more love in around you, would make sense. Trust in your inner guide, your intuition on that. Perhaps eating something sweet, taking some sweetness, right? The heart being sweet, being kind. Some figs or something of that nature, a healthy source of sweet. Very content. Leslie's very content. I got a smile from Antoinette. Okay, so there we go. All right. Anything else? Let me see here. I don't think anyone's raising hands, so I'm going to continue on. Trying to get, there we go. All right, so the three minds. Mantra vibration. So this is what I've been talking about through the presentation. When we speak mantra aloud, we're balancing the negative mind, awareness of all things, and its voice is called human. Right? If you were to give it a voice, if you will, it would be human. And this will make more sense whenever I get down to the Kirtan Kriya. When we whisper a mantra, we're balancing the positive mind, experiencing the longing to belong. It's known as the lover, as the voice of the lover. And that resonates, whispering lover. When we vibrate the mantra, balancing the neutral mind. Meditate on infinity or mentally vibrate. And its voice, or energy matrix, if you will, is divine. So that gets into the mantra vibration. All right, so we're going to touch on mudras. Mudras are the body's, the energy moves through mudras, and typically with mudra, we are using either the fingers, the hands, the arms. In some cases, it's the whole body. Like today, we did Maha Mudra this morning, where we were sitting on the heel was at the perineum, or you modified. You were wrapping the hands around the big toe. You had your breath of fire and your gazing point at the third eye point, the brow point. This has always interested me so much about the fingers and the basic elements. Your thumb is not only fire, Venus, and Mars, but your thumb is also ego. So this morning when we practiced Ego Eradicator, we were plugging our thumbs up to the sky. This is working all the meridians along the arms into the heart. That was the mudra that we used this morning, the Ego Eradicator mudra. First finger, air, correlates with Jupiter, expansion. Then we've got ether and Saturn. This gets into, Saturn is power, chaos, that kind of thing. We're going to go over this in greater detail. Earth, sun energy, and then water and Mercury corresponds with that finger, the planet Mercury. Mudra, why? All right, so before I start reading, when we use mudra, it is closing a circuit. First finger and thumb, that's closing the circuit. Notice what I'm doing here with my fingers. And what I mean by closing the circuit is that here we've got space between, and now that circuit's closed, so that's creating an energy loop, right? Whichever finger it is. Mudra translates to seal, mark, or gesture. And like it's most often done with fingers, hands, and arms, but rare cases, the whole body. Postures will build on a specific muscle group. We can expand energy in our consciousness with the help of mudra. There may be reflexes. The hand may link to something else in the body, emotional, spiritual, mental, or physical. So, today we did the Venus mudra, extended the fingers. We did the Ego Eradicator mudra. We did the mudra where we were gripping the big toe. And when we grip the big toe, that stimulates the pituitary gland. That linking of your hands and fingers can also move energy in such a way that you start to have releases. Acknowledging the interconnectedness throughout the body using mudra can connect us to all parts of energy of the body in unexpected and rewarding ways. Each finger has its own spark of connection. The fingers connect to the energies of the cosmos and the planets. The fingers connect us to the 5 basic elements and can aid in balancing the brain systems and connect us to our higher self. Science also confirms that around every fingertip, there is a concentration of free electrons. By touching the fingertips and or parts of the palm, we direct prana, we direct life force, we direct energy, life force energy, that can also stimulate the chakra system. Mudra system works like the scientific system of acupressure. In the light of calm and steady self-awareness, inner energies wake up and work miracles without any effort on your part. That's Sri Nisargadatta Maharji. Meditation focus for the eyes. So before I go on to focusing on the eyes, meditation, because we've been focusing on the brow point, so I wanted to touch on that. Are we good on mudras? Do we have a good understanding of mudras, the hand gesture? Okay, good. All right. Meditation focus for the eyes. So when we move the eyes, it stimulates the optic nerve, and that's how it begins, moving the glands. The pituitary gland is located behind the optic nerve. So when we move our eyes, either at the tip of the nose, the top of the head, that starts to stimulate the pituitary gland, and then that gland begins to speak to the other higher glands. And if you all may have even felt this, I know I did in the beginning, when I first started using my eyes in meditation, I wasn't used to rolling them, closing them and rolling them up towards the brow point. It wasn't very comfortable. The optic nerve wasn't very strong. My eyes weren't very strong. It wasn't very comfortable for me. And even the one gazing at the tip of the nose is still, that is a challenging meditation eye focus. It's a lot of stimulation. So at the third eye point, close eyes gently raise up to the brow point, center of the forehead, it's a little bit above the brow points. This corresponds with the sixth chakra and of course the third eye point. Stimulates the pituitary gland, the sushumna. Now the sushumna is this central nerve channel of the spine. It's that subtle energy that runs up the spine. At the tip of the nose, the eyes are slightly closed, looking along the tip of the nose. It balances Ida, Pingala, and the sushumna. So that's talking about the left side of the energy of the spine's Ida. The right side is your Pingala. You've got the sushumna. I've got a picture later on down that will show the energies come and they serpentine or cross the chakra systems. So here we are. We're sitting. We've tuned in. We start doing some spinal flex. We start breathing powerfully. Start chanting Sat Nam and roll the eyes up to the brow point. Wow, right? That is a lot of energy that we are moving through our bodies that will start to remove the blockages over time, which many of you shared that you felt already. Some of you, your first class. Now, this stimulates the pineal gland, the frontal lobe of the brain, controls the mind. We're gazing at the tip of the nose. At the chin, we don't use that one very often, but when it comes in, your eyes are closed and you're just trying to roll the eyes down to like you were gazing at the tip of the chin. So it's a lot on the optic nerve. This corresponds with the moon center and it's cooling and calming. At the top of the head, eyes roll upwards. If they're looking through the top of the head, the center of the head. This is the crown chakra, the 10th gate, and it stimulates the pineal gland because the pineal gland is located more mid-brain. Your pituitary gland is more back behind the optic nerve, but the pineal gland is more mid-brain. So when we did the ego eradicator, we had our ego eradicator mudra, and then we had our arms up and out about 60 degrees apart, lifted above the head, and then the concentration point was above the head, right in here. And we may even do that if we've got time, a little ego eradicator just to feel the sensation, because it again is a kriya, an exercise that has your pranayama, mudra, mantra, and breath all in one. So it can be done all as one kriya. 1/10 open to 9/10 open. That's when the eyelids are light and relaxed, leaving a small opening between them. The direction of the eye focus may vary due to Yogi Bhajan's instructions. And moving the eyes around just helps us to calm, to focus, and heighten our intuition. I think there was some stuff, there's 3 in the chat, so let's see if I keep going on. Figs, not cupcakes. Fig cupcakes. Yeah. All right. So I totally felt something activate. Would you like to comment on that and let us know? Verbally, you could unmute yourself.
Yeah, that was you had mentioned talking about how like looking towards the eye can, or looking towards, I guess, the third eye, the top of your brow or the bottom of your brow,
Yes.
can, people can feel it their first time doing something like that. And I did. That's all. That's all that was.
Well, it's you know, if you're not used to doing something like that, it can be really intense feeling. And the other thing is you might not be able to hold it the whole time. Like you're going along, you've got your Satnam, you're happening, then you notice that your eyes aren't rolled up and you roll them back up and then you feel that stimulation. So it's there's a lot of energy, a lot of power in this. Okay, so Kirtan Kriya. We are going to practice this. And the reason why is this is a very powerful Kriya. Again, it is one that can just, this could be sadhana, your meditation practice to do Satanama Kirtan Kriya. It has okay, so practicing the meditation, bring total mental balance to the individual psyche. It's a biji seed mantra. Satnam has profound energy. This mantra breaks it down into the primary elements. This mantra, let me read the comments from my manual before we begin, because it's a powerful one. And it's a good one. And I hope that we practice it in such a way that you're able to remember it. You can always look this one up online as well. Let me find it here. You know how it is when you want to find something? It's like, where is it? I look at it all the time and then you can't find it. That's what I'm experiencing right now. Okay, here we go. Do this as often as necessary to stay alert. Practicing this meditation is both a science and an art. It is an art in the way it molds consciousness and the refinement of sensation and insight it produces. It is a science in the tested certainty of the results it produces. Each meditation is based on the tested experience of many people in many conditions over many years. It is based on the structure of the psyche and the laws of action and reaction that accompany each sound, movement, and posture. The meditations as Kriya code this science into specific formulas we can practice to get specific results. Because it is so effective and exact, can also lead to problems if not done properly. Chanting the Paji Shabad, the primal or nuclear form of Satnam, has a profound energy within it because we are breaking the biji, seed or atom of sound, Satnam, into the primary elements. Okay, so how are you after that share? Oh, we've got 5 chats. Let's look at that. Let's see, Fig Cupcake Satanam. It was the first one I ever tried, the only one I ever remember. It is the Kirtan Kriya, Satanama, is very, very popular, and it's often done in your Kundalini classes. So that would make sense that it's the first one. There's someone else saying that's the first one. It is very powerful. Nearly cry. Yes, yes, yes. And at the beginning, if you missed this morning, everything that there's a few slides that I pulled from like the yoga journal, or I went to an Ayurveda website and pulled some information from there. but the majority of the information that I'm sharing with you is straight out of Yogi Bhajan's teacher training manual. It's done through his research and his work, because I wanted to be able to really trust the information that I'm giving to you, right? He founded the Kundalini Yoga Institute, where they've done a lot of research on these kriyas, on these meditations. Okay, so sa, and you notice there's two A's, sa, that's going to translate to infinity, cosmos, beginning. The first finger, Jupiter, knowledge, and we're connecting that with, it's called Gyan Mudra, and it connects to the thumb. I'm not sure you guys, there we go. Then ta translates to life, existence, second finger, Saturn, connects with wisdom, balanced wisdom. It's the Shuni Mudra. Now, the funny thing about Saturn is that Saturn can also represent some chaos at times as well, but we're going to focus on the wisdom aspect of it. Na, N-A, change, transformation, connects with the ring finger, sun, vitality. Just like our third chakra, it associates with the color yellow, associates with the color of the sun, vitality, willpower, strength. The sun breath that we practiced when we first came back, that is a breath to evoke vitality, energy, focus. Ma, rebirth, coordinates with your pinky finger, the ability to communicate. Buddhi Mudra. The thumb's identity is Venus, Mars, and ego, and we'll touch all five and balance the elements with this mantra. We'll keep the spine straight. The focus point is the L form. Now the L form is very important, because what the L form does is it keeps the energy moving through. So let me back away from you. Hopefully you can still see me. Do I look too dark? Can you see me? You can see me? Okay. So I'm going to turn to the side. So here's the example of how the L form works. When we're saying the sa, ta, na, ma, the first portion of the word is going to come in. Visualize it coming in through the top of the skull. So it would be, I want to make sure you see me. Sa. So sa. Visualize the A's or the A's coming out the brow point. Sa. Ta. Na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma. Okay. Do we understand the L form? Questions? I, in my first few, I don't know, classes, I didn't understand the L form. It wasn't shown to me in that way. And I wasn't visualizing, like, you know, the L. Can you see that? The L. Sa, ta, na, ma. It helps because what we would like to happen in our brain is the cord, it's called the golden cord. You've got the golden chain that had to do with your teachers. The golden cord is that we're taking the pineal gland and plugging it into pituitary, right? It's powerful. Before we begin, I would encourage you all to, you notice I always have my head wrapped, and we wrap the head in Kundalini yoga. because the hair is considered part of the electromagnetic field, and we want to protect that. So I wrap my hair, I cover my hair in. And as we know, there's many cultures that cover the head or don't cut their hair, like Native American Indians often don't cut their hair. So I wrap the head for that. And I also, even the top portion here has a covering to protect my fontanelle, the baby soft spot. It also helps bring about balance, equilibrium, but it is totally your choice. It's also taught that it can help alleviate any headaches that you can sometimes experience when you're concentrating that much energy through the mind. It can be any kind of covering. It could be a bandana, can cover your head, or just wrap the head, and anything like that. Let's see. So that's the L point. Do we have any questions on the L form? Excuse me, I said the L point, the L form. We have an understanding how that works. Okay. We vibrate the Panji, which means 5, Shabad, sound of wisdom, truth. Use all 3 languages. Aloud, human. We remember this from earlier, right? That's the aspects there. Whisper, the lover. And silent, the divine. Use your common sense and try not to go into fantasy. This was the warning that Yogi Bhajan gives again, that it's easy to get pulled into the fantasies and the images and the things that come up. Just let those things come up and pass away. And then here again, I've got cover the head to help your body balance the energetic vibration, protects the 7th chakra and the fontanelle, baby soft spot of the skull. But I will leave that up to Yogi's choice. I'm going to check the chat here. We will be holding the hands in a specific way. It's going to be the mudra will look like this. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. And as you're doing that, with each word, whether you are saying it out loud, whisper, or silent, you're working with the L form. You're just visualizing that as to come through. Sa, ta, na, ma. Is that clear? Are we clear on that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, spine straight. We focus at the brow point. We're going to use each finger, sa, ta, na, ma. We'll use all 3 languages, aloud, human, whisper, lover, silent, divine. Do your very best to stay focused on your L form. The breath will just be inhale, sa, ta, na, ma. Then we'll take an inhale, sa, ta, na, ma. Okay? All right. Let's take a comfortable seat. Yes, can you put each finger together for each word? And yes, you put each finger together for each word and you use the L form as you're moving through. Very good question. Okay. I think I'll just turn my chair around. Put this here so I can see you all. Comfortable seated position. Okay, I need to get this up a little bit higher. Let's see here if this works. Everyone should be able to see. Okay, I'm gonna raise it just one more time. So take your comfortable seat, close the eyes. Focus on the breath. on the brow point. Start first by connecting your first finger and thumb. Just feel that connection. The arms are long extended so that the back of the wrist is on the knees, the palms facing upward. All right, eyes closed. Gaze at the brow. Keep the spine elongated. The bandhas would help. Elongate the spine. First, we start with breath out loud. Inhale. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Now bring the arms down. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Sa, na, ma. Now whisper. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Sa, ta, na, Now say it silently to yourself. Continue with the mudra. Be sure to have your Jarlan Harbanda, your chin lock, so your chin is level, your neck is long, and work with the L form. Eyes are closed and gaze at the brow point. Continue with Satanama silently to yourself using the L form. Stay in Ridra and the silent vibration of the chant within. Begin to whisper Satanama. Sa. 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 Speak it aloud. Sa, ta, na, ma, 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 sa, ta, na, ma. Take a deep inhalation, first finger and thumb touching, and suspend your breath. Keep suspending your breath. Focus at your brow point. How funny. I'm still hosting. I think it's still, woo. Oh my gosh, it was like you guys were there and then all of a sudden you weren't. Hold on here. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Hi there. Woo, we're
Hi.
back.
Woo! That was I looked up and I was like, oh my gosh, where's my screen? Where's my stuff?
We're just holding our breath.
Right? Is that where we left? Was holding the breath? Oh, well, amazingly, when we started doing that, I was like, oh my gosh, that is a lot of energy. I feel a lot of energy. And then I looked at the screen and I was like, what just happened? That was amazing. Okay, so how do you feel? Oh, we've got 11 things in the chat. Maybe I'll check that out. Welcome back. Thank you. Interdimensional. So, all right. If it starts giving feedback, okay, looks like, hold on here. Let me turn this around because we don't have any feedback going on. I guess Zoom just zoomed. Bliss.
Can I just ask a question out loud?
Yes, please do.
I don't know how to raise my hand, so I'm just gonna ask. That L form thing, I guess I misunderstood that because I thought you were actually doing something with your arm in the air, but you actually, did you mean the energy's coming from the top down your spine out?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, she's doing, okay.
I apologize for that. I'm glad that you brought that up. What I was trying to do is that when it was explained to me, no one showed me that where the L was. And so they kept saying, do L form, do L form. And I'm thinking, okay. So, I mean, I had it going down my spine and all kinds of different stuff. And then I started studying. I took training and started studying. I was like, oh, so the L form is that, can you see me? It comes in through the fontanelle, top of the head, you know, right in through here, and then out the brow point. And you have to split the word. It's like the sa, ta. But your mudra is the sa, ta, na, ma.
Excellent, thank you.
Oh, wow. So we've got a comment that the electromagnetic fields expanded. Kirtan Kriya, it's a powerful one. It's one, and I have the time, due to time, I have it for us. And that's recommended when you're teaching, especially if you're teaching to beginners or you're crunched with time, that's fine, you can do that. But it would typically be 5 minutes aloud, 5 minutes at the whisper, 10 minutes silently, 5 minutes whisper, 5 minutes aloud. Then you stop, connect your first finger, thumb, inhale, suspend the breath for up to a minute, which is where I was like, ooh, that's a lot of Shakti energy. Goodness. And then you inhale again and you take the arms up through. So when your arms come up through, if it goes up to the front, we have an arc line that goes from nipple to nipple and ear to ear. And then of course there's your electromagnetic field around you. And you just stretch up and then exhale and sit. So that's one that you feel weirdly euphoric. Haha, you're answering now. Okay. That is a Kriya that you could say, okay, I'm going to give this Kundalini thing a try. I'm going to do that for 40 days. 40 days, do that Kriya. And it's profound. I'm working with 2 different Kriyas right now on a 40-day, that one I do in the morning and one I do in the evening. And it's amazing. The things that I'm letting go of and the blockages that are releasing. It's just through pranayama, little silent mantras, pranayama, sit, little visualization, and bam. Okay, can you repeat the times of each speaking whisper quietly? Yes. And I'm going to update it in the presentation. And I'm going to talk to Michelle. I think I can get here by 2 o'clock and see if we can do 2 to 5 or 2 to 5, 2:30 to 5:30 tomorrow. So we can have a little more time. So the speaking aloud's 5 minutes. The whispering is 5 minutes. The saying it silently to yourself is 10. Then you come back in with a whisper, 5 minutes. You finish aloud, 5 minutes. Connect your first finger and thumb, take your inhale, seal the deal is what I like to say. Pull your bundas, you know, seal the deal. And hold that for a minute. And you might short out your laptop or Alexa, who knows. And then exhale. And when you exhale, you know, if you're comfortable holding the breath out for a few seconds and pulling the bandhas, it's just a nice way again to seal the deal. Then take another inhale and take your arms up over your head. Exhale and sit for a little bit. And you know, you might even feel like you need to rest after that. There's the chance that you may feel that you're like, I just need to rest. Let's see here. I've got better. There we go. So now I'm connected here. Oh. How do I get? I have to leave that one or I've got the feedback. What other questions do we have? Because we've got 2:58. The presentation, let's see here. That was Kirtan Kriya. And after that, I've got, we'll come in tomorrow and we can start talking about breath and beyond and pranayama. And I also have a little tidbit on the aura. So for those that are new to aura, electromagnetic field and things like that, we'll touch on that. And we'll go over breath of fire so that we have a good understanding of that, because there were some people earlier today that said they had some anxiety around it and you don't want to hyperventilate and things like that. And so it's a learning of how to focus on the outgoing breath powerfully. We start tomorrow. I believe that you're going to have, and you might want to look on the Facebook, I think Michelle will, she's going to have a presentation from 9 to noon on the philosophy of yoga, I believe, which would tie in nice with the Kundalini. So that should have answered the time about class, but check the Facebook page. Satanama is a very nice kriya to do at night. Yes, it is a very nice kriya to do at night. And keep in mind, there's another one that is done like this. It's cross the heart, and you sa ta na ma. Now this one is known for helping people that are trying to stop a bad habit, like an addiction or something, or make a change in their life, to do the cross the heart, sa ta na ma. So my point in saying that is that sa ta na ma can be used with other mudras and breath and things like that. Does that make sense? Yeah? Yeah. Not just, that's one specific kriya that we just practiced, the kirtan kriya with the sitting and and you don't always go through it with the 3 languages, the loud, the whisper, and the silent. Sometimes it's just silent. Sometimes it's just aloud. Like this one is sa, ta, na, ma.
One, oh,
What?
sorry.
Oh,
The first time I did it was sang, though it was a different mudra, and there are like notes that we were supposed to sing. I was wondering if that's like a common thing or if that was just
it is.
something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are many different ways to use satanama, or primal. It's the primal language. It's an elemental language. It's the satanama. That part of language has a current throughout. Is that making sense? Like when we say Satnam, Satnam has Satanama all in it, wrapped in one.
Yeah,
Okay, so with Satanama being your connection to primal elements, it can be done in a singing manner where they're singing it along. There's one other chant, Ekankar, that's sung like that. It goes something like Ekankara Satanama Siriwahe He Guru. Ekankara Satanama Siriwahe He Guru. Was that it? Because that's a
No.
sing-along Satanama.
This would
There's
no.
also
Okay.
Ramadasa, where it's a sing-along and has the Satanama in it as well.
This one was straight up just Satanama. It was like Satanama, like over and over.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a specific, when you hit those notes, I was like, yes, that is a specific Kriya. I'm wondering if it's Ramadasa. It's along the lines, yes. Yes, in answer to your question, yes. It can be done with singing, and typically with that, they can play the music.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that with Zoom is that the music doesn't translate well.
Yeah.
And so I've been choosing Kriyas that don't require music because the music doesn't translate. And even if you had the link, you've got it going on your end. I've got it going on my end. It gets wiki wacky, but yes. Okay. Will the Zoom link be available soon? Besides workshops. I am going to talk to Michelle about that. Thank you for answering the question about Kriya. That Kriya is action, Ya is soul. For me, I was always just taught about the Kriya, that when you hear Kriya, it is about action. So you could think of it as like activating the soul. When you're practicing Kriya, you're activating the soul. You're tuning into your higher consciousness. And class tomorrow, I'm pretty sure it starts at 9 a.m., 9 to 12 and 1 to 3, or 1 to 5. I'd have to check that out because she modified it for me because I couldn't get here until like 2 or 2:30. I have to leave now. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sadnam. Oh, what should we do with this energy? Drink water. Drink water. You can take a shower. Preferably a cooler shower than a hot shower. Take a cold shower, take an Epsom bath, and continue to breathe. If you're comfortable with breath of fire and you've been practicing Kundalini yoga, that would be one. I would also recommend take a walk. Take a calm walk and breathe. Did that answer the question? Okay, so she just looked it up. And it's 9 to noon, and then Tina 2:30 to 5. I'm going to try to get in here. I'd like to get here at 2. Beautiful. Thank you. This was lovely. Thank you so much. 2:30 to 5:30 is what it says on Facebook. Okay. 9 to noon with Michelle. Antoinette, thank you. I will do that. Yeah. A cooler shower. Drink lots of water, everybody. Lots of water. Eat greens. Greens are very good for your electromagnetic field. Thank you. Go for a walk. Yes. Tune into nature. You can also take your shoes off and stick your feet in the grass on the earth. That will help ground you, and that will help absorb some of the energy, siphon it through to the earth. Gaia would love that. She's real good with that. All right, really? Okay. So I hope I see you all tomorrow, and we'll move through a lot of information. And I want to thank you all so much for being here. I am glad to stick around for a few more minutes and answer questions, but I understand if you need to leave, go do your thing, do your thing. Thank you, good night. I'm in Europe as well. We'll go for a final walk with the dog before bed. Very good, yes, yes. Very nice, go for a walk. Satanam, oh, here, are you guys talking and you can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, and I can hear you now. Solid.
Sorry, yeah, I know I've been asking a lot of questions, but
No, I'm glad.
one
Thank
more.
you.
What was my question? Yeah, so I don't know if I'll be able to make tomorrow morning classes. I wasn't aware. I was under the impression that each class was just like different times for the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
But so will I need to attend Michelle's class in order to understand what's going on in tomorrow's afternoon class with you?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm going to start, because I don't even know what she's talking about. I won't be there. I actually have, I know this probably sounds freaky and wacky, but I have a 3-hour private every Sunday. Kundalini. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. So I'll have that going on, and then I'll come in at 2:30. Probably, I'd like to open it up about 2 so we can chat and stuff beforehand. So I'm trying to rearrange my private a little bit there. And then I'll have the presentation and we'll start with that. And tomorrow, I'd like to cover just briefly aura, because some of you may be familiar with aura, some not. And when you start practicing a lot of, in my experience, let me back up, not project, right? Like in my experience with my perception and all my stuff, when I practice Kundalini yoga, it shifts things and changes things profoundly with the breath, with the mudras and the mantras. And I have started to feel my aura. Like I can feel it around me. It's pretty cool. It's taken some practice, regular practice, commitment, determination, So we'll talk about aura. We'll talk about the chakra system, because it's nice to have a good understanding of that, especially to realize that, your heart might release in any particular kriya and you might feel it on the back side. The throat could release. Maybe you don't feel it on the front of the neck. Maybe you feel it on the behind the neck, right? But it's still that region of energy, of chakra energy. We'll talk about the breath of fire, pranayama, breath of fire. And I think that's about it. I mean, that would be enough, right? The breath of fire, the aura, the, the chakra system. How? This was a lot to fit in for the weekend. So you guys have done really well. I love elephants too. Ganesh. You guys have done really well sticking with it, asking questions, not getting too heady about it. We have to be careful about that because it's an experience, right? It's just we're experiencing sensation. We're experiencing the breath. We're experiencing the mudras, the mantras as we chant them aloud or silently. We're just experiencing it. Let's see. Why a timer is used in Kundalini yoga? Yes, it's a good question. And before that was where my resistance, some of you have talked about where you had resistance in Kundalini when you started. Some of my resistance was the timer. I came from a vinyasa flow practice where we just would flow from one thing to another. So the timer seems a little bumpy to me. But now I love it so much, especially with AI, Alexa, and things like that, because Alexa, stop. She can set the timer for you right there. And Yogi Bhajan, in the Kriyas typically would set a time. Do this for 11 minutes. If you can't do 11 minutes, work up to 11 minutes. Do this particular Kriya for 32 minutes or 31 minutes. There's some that are at 6 and at 9, and you work up to that. So that is very much a part of Kundalini yoga, is setting a timer. And what I found with that is it's nice because it allows you to just let go and experience, because the timer's keeping the time for you. It's like when you're cooking, right? Oh, for heaven's sakes, if I didn't have a timer cooking, everything would get burned. There would be nothing rolling out. I set that timer all the time, you know? And I love it in my practice, because I'll get on the mat, I'll have my timer with me, and it's nice when it's one that you can verbally use. I'll know what Kriya I'm going to do. I'll set the timer, close my eyes, focus on the brow point, my breath, and go. When the timer goes off, it's done. I close it up, I seal it off with my bandhas and my outgoing breath. I go to the next Kriya, set the timer, close my eyes, withdraw my senses, experience that. When the timer goes off, bam, I go to the next thing. So, yes. Did that explain it? Jelena, are you still there? Did that explain the timer, I hope? It's been great. The practice was really powerful this morning. I had to sleep during the break. Good. Yes. That would be any of this sensation. Some of you may have not had the sleepiness. Some may have had higher energy. Yes, and I'm glad that you honored it by taking a nap. What I've been told through just years of practice and in different modalities, not just the Kundalini modality of yoga, is that when you are craving that sleepiness after practice, that is your body's way of healing. It's got a phrase to it, which is just called healing crisis, but that sounds so like, yikes. But basically, it's just when you're practicing a lot, you've been doing this pranayama, you've been doing the mudras, the mantras, the movement, and you're asking the body, like a vaccine, right? Like a vaccine that you get. That's a common term that we'll use in Kundalini. It's like, whoo, that was a lot of healing energy, and you may need to take rest and sleep. Well, it was 5 aloud, 5 whisper, 5 silent, 5 whisper, 5 aloud was the recipe for kirtan. I was wondering if you repeat the silent more than once. No, not in that one. You just do the 10 minutes silent, and then you go into the whisper and go to the aloud, and then you close it off with that minute hold. See you tomorrow. Erica, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, love. I'm glad that you were here. Gotta go too. Is that Kia? Did I say it right? Hopefully. Have a good night. So yes, so exercises are done for a set period of time, and that varies. Yes, it does. And like today, with you all, I cut the time in half. We did it about 2.5 minutes aloud, 2.5 minutes whisper, 5 minutes silent, and then I went back to 2.5, 2.5. So, which you can do that, especially when you're beginning. You can cut that recipe. In the morning class, I did the same thing. It gives me a parameter where you can practice like 1 to 3 minutes of particular Kriya. And I split the difference this morning for us. Because you wouldn't think that extra minute would be a lot. But when your arms are up over your head and you're you're focusing up here and you're pumping your stomach, and another minute can be intense. So I split that for you guys. And I often do that on the classes that I teach on Monday and on Friday, because I've only got an hour. And thank you, gracias, thank you. with an hour, that's not a lot of time. So I'll adjust the time to fit within the parameters that were already prescribed. And each Kundalini, if you look up a Kundalini Kriya, it'll tell you, it'll tell you do this for 3 minutes, or that you've got the flexibility 1 minute to 3 minutes. And again, it being the householder's yoga, that makes it really nice. Because if I'm pressed for time, but I want to get on the mat, I want to get a Kriya in, I won't go to the far end of the spectrum, the 3 minutes. I'll do the 1 minute part of it. And that, sometimes cuts it down to 11 minutes or something like that. But that 11 minutes is enough to shift consciousness. And that's a beautiful thing when we can recognize that we need to change our space. We need to change our head, get the 3 minds in better balance. 11 minutes of a Kriya can certainly do that. Even just sitting and breathing and just doing sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma. For 3 minutes, we'll have a shift on your consciousness. Thank you, Miss Leave. Okay, thank you. Is it Adriana?
Adriana, yeah. Thank you.
Adriana, thank you so much, love. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Hi, Leah. Okay.
I just wanted to say this was my first Kundalini experience, and it was awesome.
Well, nothing like diving in the deep end.
Yeah. And it was cool just to be able to like know what just happened. Because, if you go to a Kundalini class, you kind of just go and it just happens and you just go for it. But like really nice learning about it and just kind of like what happens in your mind and what happens all around you. So it's cool.
Yeah. And that, I'm glad that you brought that up. Is it Clara?
Sierra.
I see the I now. Sierra. Because that's why I was so excited when Michelle asked me about this, because so often in a class, by the time I tell you the mudra and the mantra and where to hold your focus, and then what you're going to breathe and how you're going to move, we're okay, let's go, Yeah. And then if people have things that come up, getting to visit about that and share and know that it's normal and it's okay, and you're going to feel a lot of different sensations.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice. So I was very excited about this. This is where the Aquarian Age Sutras really served me, because I didn't already have the PowerPoint together.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought, wait a minute, you know what? We're living in the Aquarian Age.
Yeah.
And if I just start, all I have to do is just start.
Yeah, so true.
And the pressure will be off. And I just did. And
it's so good.
Got it done, And so, and then Michelle and her staff and the students in this teacher training and everybody, there's so much compassion.
Yeah.
So much compassion.
Awesome. I'm so happy.
And the duality is dissolving, and that need to compete. So you can have Leah on, and she can chime in and give her insight with her experience and her golden chain of teachers, right?
Yeah.
And then someone else can come in and they bring their information. And it's not from that place of who's the best or who's the smartest or who's the whatnot. It's just from this place of being compassionate and sharing from the cup, and this is what I know. This is what I've experienced. And it's just wonderful. I just love it so much, just so much.
Yeah. Cause I didn't know, I looked at so many different like studios, and then I came across this one. I was like, why are the prices so different? Like, am I coming out with a different certification, or like what is the point of paying so much money and getting the same exact experience, even better maybe, from another place that is more authentic, whatever. So I messaged her and she told me this whole thing, and I was like, all right, I got it, I'm in.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
I've been studying studying and practicing for about 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And what Michelle has done, it's really phenomenal. And oh my gosh, she's a vault of information. And not only is she a vault of information, but the people she has around her, Emily and Leah and my other Leah, that's my mentor, because I'm in the clinical yoga program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm in the clinical yoga program. And it moving online where you can pick and choose and kind of get through it as you can.
Yeah.
She's really done such an amazing job to be able to reach so many people and meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So far, I've been like in love with it. It has been like, I'm not even finished with the first section. I'm like, yes, like, this is so good.
I'm so glad, Sierra, because there's nothing worse than to sign up and put a lot of money in a workshop and then be like, oh, well, I'll experience this now.
Yep.
Positive mind. Come on through. Positive mind.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Thank you.
And that was the other thing when I was thinking of this and sharing, was just thinking layman, general terms, you know, because it's so much information to digest, right?
It is a lot of information.
It's a lot. And then you're practicing and moving and doing the whole thing, and it's a lot.
Oh my
a
God.
lot.
It really is. You know what? I was like, the past year, I've like been on this like self-transformation, and honestly, like reading these things right now and looking back and like a year ago before that, and like if I didn't read everything and like dive into what I dived into in the past year, I'd be like, what the hell is this saying? Like, I'd be like, what, the cosmos, this, like, I wouldn't know.
Right.
So it's nice though that she like breaks it down like super like easily and kind of like able to talk to everyone about it. But so funny, like that was my experience. I don't know how anyone else's experience is, but I mean, I was like, well, glad I read what I did.
I bet there was a few people that had a, whoa.
Yeah. What was that? Yeah. Like read it, like not ready for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a whoa when I looked up and the screen was blank. I was like,
gosh.
what just happened
That
there?
So funny. I literally was holding my breath for so long, and I was like, and then I finally got out and saw everyone else was holding their breath still, and I was like, no way everyone's holding their breath for this long.
Oh my gosh, well, you guys are like superpower yogi.
So funny.
Really, you only hold your breath for a minute. Yeah. I think that's probably why, I wonder if that's why I got such a surge. I was like, whoa, it's been long enough. It's a surge of energy. What's happening up? And I looked up and I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, but I was just like, I would hold my breath and let go and then bring it back.
Right? Yeah. That's good. That's good. It's interesting. It's always something though, huh?
Yeah.
Right?
I think everyone laughed about it.
You've got to. I mean, you know, this morning when I was trying to sign on with Zoom, I had Michelle walking me through that because I had 2 different applications were trying to fight with each other. So we got it worked out. And that's where I also think of that's the Yoga Sutra of the Aquarian age, you know. There's a way through every block.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, there's a way through every block. And I like referring that. So if I get in a place where my negative mind is ruling the ship or something, you know, and I feel like I'm stuck, I like to have tools to go back and go, wait a minute, this is the Aquarian age. It's not how it works. It's not how it works, man. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, right? There's a way through this block. There's a way. I just have to start. There's a way.
Yeah.
It's nice to have those tools.
Yeah, this is super exciting. I just love that this is like a lifelong practice. Like, it's not like I'm just diving into it and after 8 weeks, it's like, oh, I'm going to be this yoga teacher. Like, I'm excited that it's like my whole life, you know, like once you dive in, you just keep going and keep going. That's super cool.
Girl, that's what I loved about it too.
I know. 20 years.
When I found it, I was like, oh man, there's so much to you just keep learning and you keep evolving and you keep changing.
Yeah.
You
Like
know?
doing Kundalini when you were doing whatever before. That's super
Yeah. Yeah. I started Ashtanga and then got into Bikram and then got into an ashram and then got into Iyengar
cool. Wow.
and then got back into Kundalini.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Is it all like classes? You have like take another like big class like this for all those ones? Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
And this one is just for vinyasa, right? Or is it and some other like little things?
No, are you talking about the program I'm in right now with My Vinyasa Practice?
No, I was
I'm
talking
in the clinical.
you're not in it, but
She's got like a 200-hour,
yeah.
and then you can go into the 300-hour, and then she's got the clinical
And then the
yoga therapist.
Oh.
And I'm right now into the clinical yoga therapist
Oh, okay.
part, not any more of the teacher training.
The past.
Well, I've had a few, I've studied a bit.
Yeah.
I've got, when I did my 6th one, that's when I was like, okay.
Your 6th one.
Teacher training. Yeah. I was like, okay, this I need. And then I moved into this clinical yoga and I just love it. It's just been fabulous. Everything about it's just been fabulous. So like, but it's like you said, and it's like Leah said,
Yeah.
there's not a goal.
Yeah.
There's not a goal.
No.
It's all yoga.
Yeah, that's so
It's all yoga. Whether you're studying the Ayurveda, the clinical yoga, you're starting at a 200, you're at a 300,
yeah. That's so awesome.
you go off, you want to learn Thai yoga, it's all yoga. You're taking a walk with your dog, it's yoga. It's all yoga, right?
That is
No goals, just show up.
yeah. That is such an awesome concept.
It's takes the pressure off, doesn't it?
Yeah. 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 It's so different from any like school. I just finished school. So like I just graduated in May. And so I'm just like, I don't want to jump back into like homework and schoolwork and whatever, but this is nothing. Oh my gosh, nothing like school.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
I don't like
Good. It's enjoyable, huh? Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
Does anyone else have any questions or anything going on that they'd like to ask about before we close up here? Because I don't want to leave you hanging. I don't want you to leave and wonder.
I have a question, Tara.
Okay, Doris?
Yeah, during the prayer, I experienced a lot of like hot flashes, and I'm well beyond hot flashes. And I was wondering, is that something you experience?
Yes. Yes, it is. When you're practicing with the breath and we do those suspension holds, it raises the blood pressure on the in breath when we suspend, and then on the out breath when we hold it out, that lowers the blood pressure back down.
Okay. And
So that is common.
Okay.
And I even still experience those as well. The fluctuation. And then did it continue? Did it go away?
It did go away. It did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I experienced.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I also had problems
I just.
locking my bandha.
Did you just say you had problems locking your bandhas?
Yes.
Okay. That is, of course, very common too. It takes time because it's so much to think about when you're trying to focus on all these different aspects. When, I don't know if you learn visually or with, I forget what it's called, but I'm just going to explain it. It's got a name when you do this. You know that new cellophane that they've come out with? It's not really cellophane, but it's like that wrap that you can put on bowls, but it's not the old-fashioned cellophane. It just, it goes on a bowl and it just kind of sticks to it, and you can even reuse it. It's not the kind of cellophane that you like, oh my God, what's wrong with this? It just, think of the bandhas like that. I need to know what kind that is, because the other day when I saw it, I thought, oh, that's such an analogy. That's where that wrap it's not too thick, it's not real hard. You can peel it off and reseal it. So when you're using the bandhas, take into consideration, depending on where we're at, and sometimes a lot of times I'll cue you to specific ones, like you got cued a lot to the chin here, the Jarlin Harbanda, because if not, people tend to hang the head, or the chin might go up, or the chin might drop down too low, and so the neck isn't in the alignment we'd like to see, right? So the Jarlin Har helps to align the neck. So that helps me if I just focus on, oh, I'm pulling the chin lock to elongate my neck, to stabilize my neck. On the navel lock, and that's such a, seal would be better, the navel seal. It's very diaphragmatic, so that takes some visual work, because the navel lock pulls in and the energy goes upwards towards the heart. Because when you squeeze the navel in, that squeezes the diaphragm up, right? So that flying up action, so would just be a little bit, pull the navel in, the navel point in, and to the point that it restricts your breath or causes you stress. And then does a hard one to hold. You can engage where you're contracting the sphincter muscle. Of course, that pulls in the perineum wall. And then you start chanting and breathing and whatnot, and you tune into the root lock, and it's not engaged. So then you just engage it again. You can have as many start overs as you need to. So if you check it out, like, oh, I don't have my bandage. No worries, just engage them again. Oh, I don't have my bandages engaged. Oh, no worries, just engage them again. Does that help, Doris?
Yes, you answered.
Because it's.
Good to know.
It was difficult for me.
I didn't hardly hear you.
It was very difficult for me.
It was-
Probably because Kundalini is very new to me. I did very little of it.
I agree. I was like,
Exactly. And so with that being said, give yourself plenty of time. My Ashtanga teacher 20 years ago said that engaging the bandhas is a lifelong practice. It's a lifelong practice that, as you're beginning, that you're new to Kundalini, you may be new to yoga, that's just part of the practice. It just as if, like, when you have, I will go over the bandhas and the chakras tomorrow. Yes, I will. That's what it was. That's the other thing I was going to touch on, was the bandhas. So just consider that it takes a lot of practice to get used to engaging the bandhas and hold them throughout. I don't even do it the whole time. I will be focused on something else, and then I tune in, I'm engage the bandhas. I engage the bandhas, keep going, tune back in, engage the bandhas. So that comes with time. That comes with time. And you're new to Kundalini. It's, you don't normally do that kind of thing. So you just when you hear me cue it, go, oh yeah, I need to do that. You forget, or your body forgets and does its own thing. I cue it again. Oh yeah, I'll need to do that. No worries. But you are right. It is challenging in the beginning, for sure.
Well, thank you. It was a great.
You're welcome, Doris.
Sure, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yay!
I agree.
Satnam, namaste. Have a good night. Drink plenty of water. Water. See you,
Bye.
Sierra. Drink plenty of water.
Thank
Water.
you. Bye.
Yes.
Thank
Is
you.
it Janina? Thank you, Doris. Janina, I will go over the chakras and the bandhas and the aura and the breath of fire, hopefully tomorrow. Whoa, that sounds like a lot. But that's the game. That's the game plan. Are we good? Christine, do you have any questions? Any more questions? All right. see. Satnam. Namaste. Oh, one new message. Thank you. Good night. Good night. Thank you.